Hi everybody, here we are again. I just thought I'd share this with you. The other week, the central heating packed up. The hot water was still working, the boiler was still working, everything seemed to be fine, and I finally traced it down to the valve for the hot water, for the heating. There's a valve exactly the same for the hot water. That was working. When you got a demand for hot water, the valve would open up, hot water would heat up. But a valve for the, a demand for the heating didn't do anything. So I ordered one of these. It's a Honeywell, quite a standard valve for central heating. I'll put a link down into the description of all the parts that I've done. So when it came to fitting it, I thought, I don't really want to mess with the water side of the central heating. So I had a look at this and thought, what could possibly go wrong with it? Well, there's a motor in there, and there's a micro switch. I don't know if you can see that. It's this black thing, and there is a switch just about there, and when the valve opens, it should turn the switch on. But that's only when it's being driven by the motor. When you drive it by just the arm, it doesn't. But if the motor was driving it, it would drive it all the way to there, switch the switch on, that would turn the boiler on, and you'd have heating. So you might have heard that click. So I thought, well, as I'd moved the lever on the one that's fitted, I thought, what if I just replace this box part? So having a quick look at it, it only requires 2 screws to be removed. Just do that. Bit of a tug, because the actual motor drive or the mechanism is always slightly ahead of where it needs to be. So when you click it into place, you take it out, there's a bit of resistance, and then it winds itself back in a bit. It's driven by a spring. So a little bit late, I decided to check whether, or rather, I fitted the box as such to the existing plumbing fitting, and all of it worked fine. So this is the old box. So then I thought, how much is it without that? That looks like it's going to be an expensive piece of kit. One of those is, I found it, the cheapest I found it was £46.40. Sorry. One of those was £46.40. One without the plumbing fitting was, I think, £44, so saving a couple of quid. Which, if you don't have to buy the plumbing fitting, it's saving you a couple of quid. But then I had a little bit of a deeper look on this one and realised that the motor, the switch it was still fine. Presumably you can buy the switch separately, but in this case, and switches don't often break, but in this case the motor was a bit duff. It was open circuit. When you look at that, take off that, it's the brown and blue wires. Brown and blue wires with a DVM, it measured open circuit. So I thought, let's see if we can just buy the motor. Turns out you can buy the motor quite easily. I'll post in the description a link. And there you have it. Identical motor with all bits, and that measures approximately between the two wires 2K, 2 kiloohms, whereas that one between the brown and blue is open circuit. It even comes with screws to attach it and the crimps. So all it's a case of is clipping those off, which we'll just do. Taking the motor off, which is on this one, is just one screw, even though it has just the same as the new one. It has 2 lugs for fastening screws. In the actual motor that it's fitted to, one of the screws isn't used. Drop that on the table. The motor you have to twist slightly out of the unit and then just take it out. There you go. Undo the twisty strip. There's plenty of length on the wires. If you did it more than once, there probably wouldn't be, but then you could just perhaps cut it there, and you've got, alright, there's a bit of a crimp in the way, but does it matter? So cut them off. As it's an AC voltage that goes on there, it doesn't matter which way around you connect it. It's probably about, we'll try on 1.5 with the strippers. 1.5, that was a good guess. So strip it about 5mm. Take the new crimps. Just twist them together slightly, just for ease of getting into the actual print body. You want to put it all the way into the insulation, butts up to the inside of the actual metal crimp. I'm just going to use the small setting on these. It's basically just a pair of pliers. Give it a couple of crimps. Tie it on. Put the next one in. There we go. Tie it on. Then it's just a case of assembling it back up. The cog has to go into the hole there. It will align onto the gear, twist it in so that it lines up with the hole. Put the screw in. That fastens the motor into the housing. If I could find the piece of, there it is. Doesn't really matter if you lose that, because all you're doing is just tidying the wires up. Tidy them up, twist them in. There is a screw to screw in, but I've not got it with me. Just replace the screw there, and a valve good to go. Well, minus the body. I'm not going to replace that because it was working fine. But rather than £46.40, that only cost £9.49, so quite a big saving. Right, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Cheers, bye. Hi everybody, just before ending the video, I must mention that if you're messing with any sort of electrics, make sure that they're isolated from the mains before you do so. If you're not confident, don't mess with stuff. But if you are confident, turn the breakers off, turn the whole power off to the house. If you need to, use a torch. If you've got a multimeter, check that the circuit is dead, because sometimes circuits can be labelled up. Sockets to the top of the house, you'll turn that off, and some of the sockets may still be live, because if someone's added stuff at a later date and just wired it off somewhere else, sockets can still be live. So just as a safety thing, isolate stuff and always check with a multimeter that you know is working, preferably that's been calibrated, but this one hasn't. Check that the circuit is live first, so that you checked your multimeter, and then check that the circuit is dead after you think you've isolated it. Right. Enough safety notices. Right, cheers. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Bye.